outcast, and people tend to not want to be bothered with you. But that's a sacrifice that you should be willing to make in order to better yourself, or you will be the same thing that you see in front of you. Go along with what everybody else is doing, you'll be just like everybody else. And I believe that everyone has a dream that is so big they can't even imagine themselves doing it, but you can. All you have to do is put one foot in front of the other every day, and if it's a hurdle, jump over it, and if it's an obstacle, you got to break that thing down, push it out of the way. But in some way, fashion, or form, you just have to keep going and never give up. There's one story where me and a bunch of friends were all outside sitting down. A couple of guys were across the street rolling dice. And it was just summer day, and it was at night, and a car came up the street, and it stopped, and it circled back around, and immediately shut its lights off and zoomed down the street. We all just took off running, and I heard a bunch of gunshots. That was the closest to death I ever wanted to be, and I begged my mom to get me out here. She had put me in programs like dance and gymnastics and camps for photography because I love my camera. But at the end of the day, I still had friends that I went to school with every single day. And once camp was over or after school program or whatever, I found myself in the element. I did get the opportunity to move away to the state of Virginia, where I started 10th grade, and realized that although my mother's efforts were so strong, so strong, she almost couldn't compete with the norm of school and after school outside. Peer pressure, right. She almost couldn't compete. And she allowed me to go to live in another state with my aunt. Now this is going to seem very, very strange. The place that I decided to leave from, I carried in my heart and took with me, and attracted peers who had the same mentality, did the same activities, and continued those things, because I hadn't let God into my heart in order to change my mind to achieve some of the things that, even in the midst of all that, I still wanted to do. You know, I still wanted to travel the world with my camera and do fashion photography and just see all the different continents. I've always wanted that, still to this day. And I sat down and I thought, well, what could I tell these ladies that could encourage them in the dream? Well, I can just give you the example that my mother gave before me. And one day, prayerfully, your children will stand before some people and give praise for the example that you gave to them. My name was always Yana. Yana. My mom said, Yana, do this. Yana, get that. Yana, go here. Yana, come here. And as long as I did what she said, everything was okay. When you heard Ayana, that meant there was an urgency on it. I had not listened to something, and the hammer was getting ready to come down. Your children will believe what you call them. If you call them things that are not their names, they will internalize that and begin to feel as though that is what they are. A mother's frustration, again, I understand it to the level of the love, the nurture, the support, the shelter, the clothing. You are their first role model. You mean everything to them. And you also have a life of your own, a mind of your own. My mother always said she gave that life up the day that I was born. And her sole mission in life was to improve herself so that I could have better. Today, my mother owns a beautiful home. She's a proud owner of a beauty salon of her own in the state of Virginia. She has a hair product line. She makes jewelry. She has just been an awesome example of an entrepreneur, a lady. I've never heard my mother cuss. If I do, it's maybe like 6 times a year. now that I'm an adult. And what I do here and where I'm working with children is that a lot of adults, almost in a sense, talk to other children as if they're adults. They expose them to things that only adults should be seeing, if that, and they are distorting a child's image at a very young age of what life is supposed to be like. You always have to check the sources of what you surround your children with. Your language, body language, fashion sense, attitudes will all be shaped from you. They will go out and do things that they see done at home. They will not do things or say things that they are not allowed to say whenever they're not in your presence. There will be a level of respect